Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Nectar of Devotion. We are on chapter 3. We have been reading the 4 kinds of pious people who come to devotional service. So these 4 types of devotees have been described in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and they have all been accepted as pious. Without becoming pious, no one can come to devotional service. So what is this piety? This is some sukriti, some sort of um, connection to a devotee or devotional service. Because not all pious people come to Krishna, right? Not everyone who is in distress comes to Krishna, first of all. The whole world is in distress, but not everyone is coming to Krishna. So Krishna is saying there has to be piety there. It is explained in Bhagavad Gita that only one who has continually executed pious activities and whose sinful reactions in life have completely stopped can take to Krishna consciousness. Others cannot. And that's the reason the scriptures are always telling us don't engage in sinful activities. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. Why? To help us to come to the point of Krishna consciousness. The neophyte devotees are classified into 4 groups: the distressed, those in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise, according to the gradations of their pious activities. Without pious activities, if a man is in a distressed condition, he becomes an agnostic, a communist, or something like that. Because he does not firmly believe in God, he thinks that he can adjust his distressed condition by totally disbelieving in him. So the piety has to be there. Then only the distressed, the person who is in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise will come to Krishna. That's the reason the devotees are always trying so hard to, to give the holy name to everyone, to let everyone begin their devotional service. Lord Krishna, however, has explained in the Gita that out of these 4 types of neophytes, the one who is wise is very dear to him. Because a wise man, if he's attached to Krishna, is not seeking an exchange of material benefits. So the distressed, he's coming to Krishna to mitigate his misery. So what happens is, if his misery is mitigated, he might leave Krishna and go because his purpose is fulfilled. Or somebody who needs wealth, after he receives the wealth, he may leave Krishna and go because his um, need for wealth is finished. Or inquisitive, once one understands, he understands, Krishna is God. Okay, finish, fine. My purpose is finished, and he can go. But the wise, the one who's in knowledge, he will not go. Because he does not want anything in return. A wise man who becomes attached to Krishna does not want any return from him, either in the form of his relieving his distress or in gaining money. This means that from the very beginning, his basic principle of attachment to Krishna is more or less love. So the wise man wants Krishna. His attachment may or may not be so strong, but there is some attachment there. And that's why Krishna is saying he's very dear to me. Now, but then what happens? One may be in distress and seeking wealth and inquisitive. If he continues engaging in devotional service, he is going to come to the point of being wise. He will come to the point of being attached to Krishna. It's not that we should feel dejected. Oh, I have so much distress and that's why I'm coming to Krishna. So I'm not dear to Krishna. No, we continue to hear and chant. And at one point, we will have this attachment. So furthermore, due to his wisdom and study of Shastra scriptures, he can also understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is just to give us some further information. Everyone is dear to Krishna, but Krishna is saying, okay, of these 4, the wise is more dear to me. But the other three also, when they continue engaging in devotional service, they also become wise and they become dear to Krishna. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that after many, many births, when one becomes actually wise, he surrenders unto Vasudeva, knowing perfectly well that Krishna, Vasudeva, is the origin and cause of all causes. So, does anyone know which verse is this of Bhagavad Gita?
Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana.
Thank you. That's from Brahma Samhita, that Krishna is the origin and cause of all causes. Yes, thank you. And the verse of Bhagavad Gita that after many, many births, when one becomes wise, he surrenders unto Vasudeva. Bahunam Janmanam Ante.
Okay.
Yeah, that's also very often quoted. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavanmam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha.
Yes.
So therefore, he sticks to the lotus feet of Krishna and gradually develops love for him. Although such a wise man is very dear to Krishna, the others are also accepted as very magnanimous, because even though they are distressed or in need of money, they have come to Krishna for satisfaction. Thus, they are accepted as liberal, broad-minded Mahatmas. So anyone who comes to Krishna is very, very fortunate. No matter what the intention is, doesn't matter. But someone who's come to Krishna is not, uh, as Prabhupada is saying, is accepted as very magnanimous, because he could have gone somewhere else, but he's come to Krishna. Then also another point to understand is that after many, many births, one who becomes actually wise surrenders unto Krishna. So we may say then, wow, instead of taking so many births and then after that surrendering to Krishna, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Sarva dharmam parityagya mam ekam sharanam raja. Now the choice is ours. Should I surrender to Krishna now, or should I wait after many births to surrender to Krishna? And what happens is our surrender process, we are not able to completely surrender at one time. Why? Because of the contamination that we have. We are completely forgotten that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We're thinking we are the body. So then our surrender also takes in kind of in levels. We surrender then, but it's like a kind of a tiny bit of a surrender. Then as we go along, we may surrender a little more. As we go along, a surrender a little more. I remember one, I heard it's more like, we have turned our face away from Krishna. So the process of turning the face towards Krishna, you know, towards Krishna. So that's how the surrender is happening gradually, gradually. Without being elevated to the position of a jnani or wise man, one cannot stick to the principle of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the wise man? What is knowledge? Understand Krishna is God. That is knowledge. That is being wise, that Krishna is God and I need to worship him. The less intelligent, or those whose intelligence has been taken away by the spell of Maya, are attached to different demigods on account of the influence of the modes of nature. The less intelligent, or those whose intelligence has been taken away by the spell of Maya, are attached to different demigods on account of the influence of the modes of nature. So, why this is how Maya tricks us, that, oh, you worship this demigod, you will get instantly this benediction, this result, you will get this, whatever you're praying for. But this is how she still keeps us in the material world. The wise man is he who has thoroughly understood that he is spirit soul and not simply a body, because he realizes that he is spirit and Krishna is the supreme spirit. He knows that his intimate relationship should be with Krishna, not with this body. So this is the point we need to come to understand that I'm a spirit soul, Krishna is the supreme spirit, and that my relation should be with Krishna. My relation should not be with this body. We have to give up this body anyway, one day or the other. And then next, we are going to take up another body, and then another body. So we have to understand that we need to revive this intimate relationship. See, this relationship with Krishna is not a casual relationship. We do have many casual relationships, and then we have intimate relationships. But our most intimate relationship is actually with Krishna. The distressed and the man in want of money are in the material concept of life. Because distress and need of money are both in relationship with this body. We feel distress. Why? Because, of course, we are thinking we are the body. That's why we are in distress. If we had already realized I'm the soul, then there is no distress. And why do we need money? Because also we are thinking this. I'm the body. We have certain needs. We have certain desires. So one who is inquisitive may be a little above the distressed and the man in need of money. But still he is on the material platform. Inquisitive means he's still doing his research work. But a wise man who seeks Krishna knows perfectly well that he's spirit soul or Brahman, and that Krishna is the supreme spirit soul or Para-Brahman. He knows that the spirit soul, being subordinate and finite, should always dovetail himself with the finite and supreme soul. That is the relationship of the wise man with Krishna. So who is the wise man? Wise man, he's understood. I'm not the body. I'm the spirit soul. I need to have my relationship with Krishna. And then how can I be in this relationship? By engaging in devotional service. Should dovetail himself with the infinite Supreme Soul Krishna. It doesn't mean that he merges into the body of Krishna. It doesn't mean at no point of time are we going to become Krishna. At no point of time are we going to enter into the body of Krishna. And well, some people have that desire. Some people entering into the body of Krishna means entering into the Brahman effulgence, into the Brahma Jyoti. But devotees don't want to go there. Devotees want to have this relationship with Krishna. That is the relationship of the wise man with Krishna. It can be concluded that a person who's freed from the bodily concept of life is an eligible candidate for pure devotional service. So we can see that pure devotional service begins from the liberated platform. Because this is liberation. I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul. Krishna is the supreme spirit. So this is already, liberation. He's completely understood. And then he's understood, I need to engage in devotional service. So that is pure devotional service. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that after Brahman realization, when one is freed from material anxieties and can see every living entity on an equal level, he is eligible to enter into devotional service. So this is pure devotional service. So it's not that after liberation we will go to sleep. No, we continue to engage in devotional service. But at that point, it is pure devotional service. Did anyone have any questions or comments?
Yeah, how nicely they have differentiated the four people, giving example, clarifying it, so that when we, if somebody, because when people get to know that you are following you are reading, you are following, you are doing something, then they come and ask questions. But if you're not able to answer, that is the worst thing. That means that if you're not able to make them understand, or if you're not able to, so this is very, very clearly, very nicely with the examples that why a needful person is not number one. Why? And people might feel bad, as you said, that, oh, because I'm in need, so I shouldn't go. But no, it's mentioned here that they are all loved, but there's a gradual process. So that's very, very nicely explained. Yes.
Yeah. And Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam says, Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kama udaride divrena bhakti yogena. That whatever our desire may be, we may desire all the material. We may have so many material desires. We may have no material desires, or we may desire liberation. Just engage in devotional service. Just come to Krishna. We'll read a little more. As stated before, there are three kinds of happiness: material, spiritual, and devotional. Devotional service and the happiness due to its execution are not possible as long as one is materially affected. So there are three kinds of happiness: material happiness, spiritual happiness, and devotional happiness. What is this? This even Dhruv Maharaj, we were reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, that there is happiness in the material world. You go to the higher planets, or even in this earth planet, we have happiness. That's why we continue staying here. And we think that this sense gratification is the highest happiness. But higher than that is the happiness of the Brahmanda, being in the Brahmajyoti. And still higher than that is the happiness of devotional service. So as long as we are materially affected, we are not able to the devotional service and the happiness due to its execution are not possible as long as one is materially affected. If someone has a desire for material enjoyment or for becoming one with the Supreme, these are both considered material concepts, because the impersonalist cannot appreciate the spiritual happiness of association and the exchange of loving affairs with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their ultimate goal is to become one with the Lord. So if someone may not be able to understand, oh, God is a person, and I can have a loving relationship with God, and all that is on a spiritual platform, nothing to do with the material body, then what they might think that the highest thing is that I have to become God. This concept is simply an extension of the material idea. Why is it still material? It's not that once I've become that the idea that I want to become God, or I'm going to merge in the body of God, is still a material idea. It's still an idea of false ego. The false ego is still there. Why? Because as Prabhupada is rightly, it's simply an extension of the material idea. In the material world, everyone is trying to be the topmost head man among all his fellow men or neighbors. We are all trying to be better than the other, maybe in a small way, maybe in a great way. But, oh, I can do this better than you. So I'm on top of you, either communally, socially, or nationally. Everyone is competing to be greater than all others in the material concept of life. Each of us, I'm better than this one in this, I'm better than this one in that. We are trying to prove to not, we can't prove to anyone else, but we are just always trying to prove to our own self. This greatness can be extended to the unlimited, so that one actually wants to become one with the greatest of all, the Supreme Lord. So this idea that I want to be greater than the others, the maximum it can go to is I want to become God. So it's still a material idea. I'm going to become one with the greatest. I'm going to become one with God. When we say I'm going to become one with God, what does it mean? That means I want to become God. That I want to merge in the existence of God. What does it mean? That I want to become God. means I want to become great. So the false ego is still very much there. The false ego is
it's
not
totally
disappeared.
a wrong conception. It's totally a wrong conception.
Yes,
You say that I want to become God. I am God.
yes. Because the false ego is, that's what it's always, we always trying. No, I'm better in this, I'm better than this. So the ultimate thing is I'm God. So it's still a material idea. It's still material. There's nothing spiritual there. So it's also a material concept, although it may be a little more advanced. That okay, not with the body, but with the spirit. So a little advanced, but still material, because the false ego is there. So this is a little longer. Shall we continue this tomorrow? I mean, whenever we read this again, or you all want to read it now? Or it's the same topic you want to, if you all have 5 minutes, we can read it.
read a little. Yeah, we can read a little more. I think we can
It's
read
the
it.
continuation. If you have 5 minutes, we'll read it. Okay. However, the perfect spiritual concept of life is complete knowledge of one's constitutional position, in which one knows enough to dovetail himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is that he's understood. What is the spiritual concept of life? I'm spirit soul. I'm not God, but I am a part and parcel of God. I have a loving relationship with God. I have an intimate loving relationship with God. Let me be situated. Let me engage in that relationship. That is devotional service. One must know that he is finite and the Lord is infinite. So we are not unlimited. We are individual souls. Thus, it is not possible to actually become one with the Lord, even if one aspires for this. We may think, okay, I'm not God right now, but after I get liberated, I'm going to go into the Supreme Brahman and I will become the Supreme Brahman. But it can never be possible because we are spiritual souls. We are eternal. At no point can we never cease to exist. Even if we sit in the Brahma Jyoti, we will still have that consciousness that I am here. I am here. I am not God. We may pretend that we can pretend so many things, but factually, what's happening? We are still that same tiny living entity. It is simply not possible. Therefore, anyone who has any desire or aspiration for satisfying his senses by becoming more and more important, either in the material sense or in the spiritual sense, cannot actually relish the really sweet taste of devotional service. Devotional service is very sweet, very sweet. But if we want to relish the sweetness, we have to give up our desire to become great. We are here in the material world because we want to become great. Now, if we continue with this desire and continue with the desire and think that I'm going to get liberation by being great, but we are not getting this sweetness, our real, what do you say, activity, our real identity. Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore compared possessing these bhukti, material, and mukti, liberation desires, with being influenced by the black art of a witch. Bhukti and mukti, he's saying these desires are like black art of a witch. How we say, iske upar kisne jadoo kar diya hai. Like that, we are behaving like possessed. That we are possessed by these desires. The material desire for liberation. We are actually spirit souls. We have a loving relationship with Krishna, but we are completely under the switch of Maya. Bhakti means material enjoyment, and mukti means to become freed from material anxiety and to become one with the Lord. These desires are compared to be haunted by ghosts and witches. Because while these aspirations for material enjoyment or spiritual oneness with the Supreme remain, no one can relish the actual transcendental taste of devotional service. So we may say, oh, but I have these desires. What I have to do? I have desire for material enjoyment. I have desire for liberation. I cannot artificially give it up. What I have to do? Anyone?
Engage in devotional service.
Yeah, we
Hearing and
continue
chanting.
hearing and chanting. Yeah, that's
That I
right.
should
We continue.
not about things.
I'm sorry?
No, I said ask the mercy of the Lord, to ask him that please give me that desire to think about you, not about material things.
Very good. Yes, very good. Very good. Yeah. Pray, continue to hear and chant. Gradually, gradually, we will come to the point. It's a gradual process. No need to jump. But no need, and also cannot become too slack also. A perfect pace is required. Perfect pace. So no slack and no jumping, but a comfortable pace. And continue to hear and chant, continue to pray. So then there is a question. Hare Krishna, if you have not met with qualified spiritual master till you ask from God for devotional service, but if you met with qualified spiritual master, you ask for liberation, please explain me this. Qualified spiritual master is one who knows the science of Krishna. Spiritual master, he is the one who can introduce us to Krishna. So we pray to Krishna to help us to meet a qualified spiritual master. Just keep that prayer. Then it's Krishna's arrangement. Pray to Krishna, please help me meet a qualified spiritual master. Because a qualified spiritual master, what is he going to do? He's going to engage us in devotional service, to hearing and chanting. He's going to connect us to Krishna. The idea is not to go away from Krishna. The idea is not to become Krishna. So the spiritual master is going to bring us to Krishna. He'll engage us more and more in devotional service. So keep the desire. And yeah, that's keep the desire. It's not that you ask for liberation after you met spiritual master. No, the real spiritual master, he is going to give us pure devotional service, which is beyond liberation. It is after you get liberated, what do? This is what we were reading. Okay, so what happens after liberation? After we get liberation, it's not that we are just going to sleep. It's not that we don't exist anymore. It's not that we become God. No, we are spiritual living and souls. We are souls. We are hearing in Bhagavad Gita, Ashvasta Yam Purana, what we are saying that it is eternal, right? The living entity, we are eternal. So we are never going to be destroyed. We are never going to become something else. We're never going to become God. So what are we going to do after liberation? So the qualified spiritual master, what does he do? Is that he engages us in devotional service. Because after liberation, what do? Is engage in devotional service. That's the point. We are always saying, I want to get liberated, I want to get liberated. But what are you going to do after you get liberated? The activity that one does after liberation is devotional service. Is that okay? So the real qualified spiritual master engages us in devotional service. With that, here in the material world, we engage in devotional service. We come to the point of liberation. After liberation, we continue with devotional service. Is that okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's not that after liberation we go to sleep or we don't exist or we are killed or we not there anymore, gone, finished, or I've become God. No. What does the soul do after the soul is liberated? This is what we are hearing. This is what we are reading in this Nectar of Devotion. After liberation, what does the soul do? Anyone? After liberation, the soul engages in pure devotional service. Pure devotional service, having a relationship with Krishna. Understanding I have a relationship with Krishna, a sweet, intimate relationship. And this is after liberation, not on the material platform. Is that okay?
Is this that you say that it's like you're a friend to him, you're a servant to him? Is that what you're trying to say now? Like
That's
those,
right.
yeah, okay.
All those are,
Madhura, some terms you use, no, like sakha, and like what are those terms that you use? Like you're going to be like a friend to him, you're going to be his servant, you're going to be like in love with him. Those terms that you use.
yes,
Is it that?
Sakhya-ras, Dasya-ras,
Yeah, that Sakhya Ras,
Vatsalya,
Madhura Ras, yeah.
yeah, Madhurya, that's right. So
Yeah,
all
okay.
this is on the liberated platform. All this is after liberation.
Yeah, so these are the things that you look into all at that point, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because the soul has a spiritual form, a spiritual body. The soul has a spiritual body, a spiritual form, has a relationship with Krishna in any of these 5 rasas. So after liberation, we engage in that relationship.
So right now you cannot engage in those relationships. Like if you think he's my friend and I'm going to be in service with, like I'm going to serve him and he's my
Yes,
Lord.
that's good.
That's
Yeah,
you can do at this point also, right? Like at this stage also a person can do this, right?
yes, as we read that the mango is the mango. At our stage, it's green mango. And the pure stage, it becomes like a ripe, juicy, golden mango. But mango is mango.
Yeah.
So yes, Krishna is my best friend. Yes. Krishna is my Lord and Master. Yes. But right now, we are not able to be with Krishna in the relationship. Actually, that Krishna, I am your lover. We don't know how to do that. Right? But servant, yes, Krishna, I'm your servant. Right? But gradually, those are higher stages then. Isn't it?
Ask him at this stage, right? Like, give me the mercy of being your servant. Like, keep me at your lotus feet. Like, give me a spot at your lotus feet. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. And Krishna, I'm your best friend. And Krishna, I want to be your friend.
Yeah. Like you can ask for all these things right now, correct?
Yes. And we may have a desire also that, okay, after I get liberation, I have a particular attraction to a particular relationship with Krishna. It could be a relationship in Sakhya Ras, or it could be a relationship in Madhurya Ras as a lover. It could be. But that's all that is after liberation, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But practically, what we can do now is hear, chant, pray. Krishna, you're my best friend. Serve. Yeah. So devotional service is very practical. It's not just some idea or some concept. No, it's practical application of the knowledge of whatever we are learning. We practically do those things. Yes. So thank you so much. We'll end here for today. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.